other episode, we got some insight from Elise Hu on what it's like to grow up surrounded by today's beauty standards. And today, we're moving the conversation from tweens and teens to adults. And to do that, I'm joined by Christina and Alexis Androulakis, who you might know from TikTok as the iconic Lipstick Lesbians. And they're here to educate and help us navigate the very, very confusing world of beauty consumerism. I think, like, before we get into the nitty-gritty, I love an origin story. And I'm kind of curious, like, what each of your backgrounds was before entering the space. Maybe we'll go in alphabetical order. I'll hit you up next, Christina. We'll start with Alexis. But I guess, like, as a product developer who's familiar with the science and, like, what it's like seeing how the sausage gets made, you're also seeing what's kept from everyday shoppers and social media users. Like, what is that like?
So, like all of you listening, and like all of us, we all start somewhere. And my start in beauty was more on the sales floor, specifically a retail sales floor. I worked at a department store. It was my first job. I worked for NARS Cosmetics as a makeup artist. It's kind of funny because Christina's been pushing me recently to go back into my makeup artistry era, and I'm like resisting because that in itself was of a time. But I say this to say that for me, it was as a makeup artist that I would flip the carton over and I would be looking at where things were made. And early days of NARS, the vast majority of their line was made in the US. And I know exactly what supplier because I even consulted for them later on in my career. And you learn these things not because you're opening a textbook, but because you're being taught by the people that have been inside the industry. So the short answer of what was that like is I know what it's like because I was everyone that's watching the content. I wanted to know more, and I became relentless in that pursuit. And it was at my time at NARS as a makeup artist that I found FIT, I was in my kind of in-between college phase where I was figuring life out. And I found FIT. It was a cosmetics and marketing fragrance program. And I knew that this could unlock the dream of working in corporate beauty, and I'd never found a program like it. And while I was sitting in the classroom at FIT, I'll never forget my professors would say, look around, everybody here, these are your peers, and one day they're going to be your colleagues. And these are going to be the people that are going to be the difference between you getting a job and not. And the truth is, with such a hyper niche industry, the two people I was closest to in my class are the two people that got me both my first and kind of most instrumental jobs as my career went on. And eventually, because my career led me to being more of a freelance, like regional artist, so I got to work in New York, I got to work at Henry Bendel, Barney's. It's crazy to think that all these stores are shut down, by the way.
Yeah, so true.
The Bleecker Street Boutique, which was like the most iconic store to ever work in as a NARS employee. And that's the beginnings of me understanding texture and the nuance of formulation.
Yeah, and I think how that your background pairs so interestingly with yours, Christina, like you being someone with a background in tech and education, like, have you ever been very, I guess, like almost shook by how information about this stuff we're putting in over on our bodies is relayed? Because I know that's been such an important thing for you two with Lipstick Lesbians is that education portion of it.
Yeah, it proliferates. I mean, so I started my career as a high school English teacher, but also I did work in retail, but not beauty retail. Like, my background is not beauty at all. And for me, I'm not the consumer that would look at TikTok for beauty reviews. Like, that was just not, but I would go to the store and I would read the marketing that would be on the gondolas, right? And I know that for sure. But I'd have always all these questions, and I'd rely on the sales associates that were there. But and that goes back to what we really built the Lipstick Lesbians on, which is asking the right questions, which if you go back to being an English teacher, like, I hate to say it, but the two most popular teachers, babe. It's always the English teacher or the gym teacher. I mean, for you it was psychology, but that makes sense.
But I still love my English teacher and I know his name.
Right.
Is that a trope that I don't know about?
Oh my God,
so
totally.
True.
Yes.
Wow.
Google it.
I'm like Mrs. Storer.
I'm
like remembering.
Well, if you think about it, English teachers really just help, young people see the world through the books that they read, right? And in many ways, I like to imagine that what we've done in the beauty industry is help people to understand themselves through the beauty products that we evaluate on our channel, right? Because we talk about it in such a way, especially Alexis is so talented, that it breaks down the formula, the packaging, the ingredients, but in a way that's digestible and empowers you to make the right decisions for yourself, right? So to relate this back with my career trajectory, after I was a high school English teacher, I decided to get my PhD in education technology because I saw the way that technology was being used in education, and it was the very beginning of it back then, like 2011, 2012, and we all know Google Classroom, and it was just the start of like Google Meets. Right now we all know Meets and Zooms and stuff because of COVID, but it ended up becoming mission critical, my work in education technology, because of COVID, right, and helping schools get online. But long story short, after I got my doctorate and I researched basically the best ways to learn online, I really found TikTok interesting because of what you could learn on TikTok.
I mean, you can, anything.
Totally.
Any
Yeah.
subject.
Any subject you want. And at the time, the way that we started the Lipstick Lesbians in general is because Alexis and I were brave enough in 2019 to have a small lipstick company called FemPower Beauty. And we just, we had trouble selling non-transfer proof lipstick during COVID. So I was like, all right, what are we going to do? So 2021, I come home one day and I remember I just came back from work and I was like, Alexis, I captured it. The Lipstick Lesbians. We're lesbians that sell lipstick. I got it. I thought we had to talk about being lesbians.
Because of the name?
Because of the name. I thought we were going to pigeonhole ourselves, right, into we need to talk about lesbian TikTok. So we started to grow a really small following on lesbian TikTok, which was really interesting. But then the first time I actually asked Alexis a question that was about a beauty product, which was the Makeup by Merle, which really started a virality, we went viral. And it was because we gamified it. I asked her a question that I used to see her play with her beauty product development friends during COVID, which was take out all these products from all around the world, let's swatch them and guess what manufacturer they are. But instead of asking her to guess the manufacturer, I asked you to guess the region of where it was made. And the people loved it. They were like, hey, baby, let's play that game where you take a random product and you guess where it's made. And she guessed it right, and people just wanted more and more and more. And it proliferated into this era where I like to believe, and I think it is true, that we really put beauty product education on the map, where people didn't know that was an actual job and career you can go down.
Yeah.
I think it's fair
incredible
to say, not even you like to believe, like nobody knew product developers existed
Right.
prior to us popping on platform.
And to go back to your question, which is about like the proliferation of information, now that we've been on platform, and we've been doing this now for 2.5 years because we first went viral in December 2022, we're seeing all the information come at us, right? Especially in beauty. And a lot of the times, me not being a beauty person, as a consumer, sometimes I don't know what's true and what's not true. But then I show it to Alexis, and she's like, nope, that's not true. Or, yep, that's totally true. Or, that's not the whole story.
I think that's so helpful because you can kind of stand in for
consumers.
Your consumers, your followers, all those things, because that's exactly how I feel. And even the short meetings like we've had together, just listening to Alexis kind of talk about these things is one, fascinating, and two, I just realized how undereducated I am and all of that.
Yeah.
And one thing that I love about your guys' take on how you do this is you commit to this idea of evaluating a product instead of reviewing it. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes,
Totally.
That was a distinction we made early on because you always use the term evaluate, right? And I think that was because we didn't really watch beauty content.
For sure. I think it's so interesting. It's almost like the word review triggers me.
I mean, if someone's like, hey, your end of your review is coming around.
Oh, yeah, exactly. No. Yeah.
And I say this because you can watch a movie, and a movie is open for interpretation in the context of taste, of how is there a cinematic experience that you've had? Is there an emotion that the movie provoked? Maybe it's your favorite actor. Maybe it's a genre. Obviously, though, that evaluation it's a critique, right? And you have a movie critic, and they're evaluating this movie on all of these objective elements. And they write the review, and there's a Rotten Tomato scale, and, right? We can go on and on. When you're talking about platforms, specifically, let's say TikTok, because it's arguably most popular right now, people are reviewing product, and what's really important is these people have not necessarily ever put makeup on another person. Let's just say the vast majority of people who are reviewing products are not makeup artists. it is one thing to be a content creator. It's another thing to be a makeup artist. It's another thing to even be a celebrity makeup artist versus an editorial makeup artist versus a makeup artist who does, you know, just content creation and only does makeup on themselves versus a, you know, product developer versus a chemist. And we can go on and on. But the distinction of somebody that's actually touched other people's faces is more important, in my opinion, for platforms, because this is where we start to really understand the nuance that you cultivate as both a makeup artist and a product developer. Like, and I wouldn't be half the product developer I am had I not spent almost 8 years in a retail environment.
Yeah.
I know this because it forced me to understand formula in a way that isn't possible unless you've experienced it through the lens of so many other human beings.
Yeah. Well, it's also like, you saying that just made me think, a thought just crossed my mind. I was like, I don't know how to French braid my own hair. Like,
Right.
I mean, it's kind of the reverse of it, but yeah, if you're not used to, how can you properly review something if you're the only one using it? Like, I mean, yes, you can review it for your own self, but
Exactly.
like, if you're trying to educate, you have to take it a step further.
Yeah.
And there's value. There's tremendous value in the thousands of beauty content creators who review products on their faces.
Totally.
Because their following is going to see something in them. Maybe it's their hair color, skin color, eye color, and they're like, oh, I like that. I want that. Ooh, that would look good on me because I look like them.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing you should be looking for when you're connecting with a content creator, outside of just the joy and pleasure of watching, like a movie.
And then I think to that point, actually, a term you've both used in the past, beauty literacy.
Yes.
Which I would love for you guys to break down for me.
Yeah. Influenced very much by my high school English teacher days.
I mean, yeah, there's like British literature, beauty literacy.
Well, right. I mean, to me, it was very evident when we started making content and educating, and it started in such a pure way, and we keep our content very much that way. Even partnerships, we don't partner with brands that we don't vet and recommend, right? And that's something that will always remain true with the Lipstick Lesbians channel. With beauty literacy, it's really about helping to elevate everyone's understanding of beauty, because ultimately, if we all can understand beauty better, we can help push the beauty industry forward with what we want, because we can now language what we want from brands. Where before, I think people did not know how to identify even what they wanted or what they knew they liked. And we hope that, again, through our content, we get to show people this new love and appreciation for maybe things they didn't know before, and then they could now demand things, because consumers hold power, right? And they could reclaim that power with knowledge.
Yeah. Well, also, I think it's very rare and would be, I'm sure, a brand's dream for the consumer to tell them exactly what they want.
Right.
Yeah.
Or to understand to the level to be able to give like that type of feedback that will really move the needle for product development.
Yeah.
Brands are holding consumer studies all the time, and we get to talk to brands all the time, and it's what makes our experience through the industry so special, because we're so closely connected on the brand side, but we're also so closely connected to the consumer, which I love personally.
And I think one of the big things that I think it actually could be interesting to tell you what I want people to take away from this conversation, which is like, I want people to know they're not alone. Like, to be a consumer right now feels incredibly overwhelming, and I feel like I'm being blasted on all sides by like what opinions, what steps do I add to my skincare routine? Should I get Botox? Where do I get Botox?
Right.
Like all those types of things. How do I preserve my glow? What is my glow?
Yeah.
Right? Maybe it's just me sweating. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I also just want people to be able to take away almost like 2 things they can change about how they approach the beauty counter or the skincare section or the next Sephora sale.
Right.
Like where they can just maybe be just a little bit more tuned in. What are 2 things that I absolutely should and absolutely shouldn't be doing when it comes to skincare, makeup, whatever you want?
I would say exfoliation is probably one of the like most overlooked things in like a skincare routine. This could be a physical, this could be a chemical, this could be something like a dermaplane like Flamingo makes. Like specifically because whatever you're doing, you want to really ignite that cell turnover. And I will also veil this with the fact that I'm not a dermatologist and I'm not an esthetician, but every skin type, even sensitive types, can benefit. And there are sensitive acids like mandelic that will benefit from just getting rid of whatever surface debris, for lack of a better word, right? Your dead skin cells that are just sitting there. Those dead skin cells are basically blockading all of your efforts. If you put a moisturizer on, it's blockading that. If you put a skin tint on, it's going to look uneven. Even if you use powder, it's going to find the dry skin and cling to it. So that's why I chose exfoliation, and it's accessible. There's ways to do it at every price point, in every category of every budget. And it's, if you do nothing else, once or twice a week, do that. And obviously, of course, hydration is a beautiful supplement to that. But in the makeup realm, I would argue that like understanding how you want to look is like,
It's a simple thing.
It's the such so simple, because, and that is a spectrum of, do you want to look radiant or do you want to look matte?
If I go into a store and I'm looking for a foundation, what question am I asking the sales associate? Like what do I lead with?
So have you asked yourself the question first? We're gonna go back to that.
My
right?
therapist is like,
Have
did
we
you
all
ask yourself the question?
And this is the point. And it goes back to what Christina was saying and our superpower right now. And in that, what if you have this understanding so you're able to reclaim the power? A brand will no longer be able to tell you, here, I'm going to shove this down your throat and you're going to like it. You know what I mean? Like, you then are going in empowered immediately. And instead of asking the Sephora rep, who maybe is incentivized by a brand giveaway, or, you know, again, for whatever reason, they have their personal favorite.
And we love our Sephora.
And we love them. And we love people with strong opinions
Absolutely.
in beauty. But you are at the core of your understanding of what you like. So the first thing I'm going to do is, again, you know, and how do you even begin to understand that about yourself? When it's, say, you wake up first thing in the morning, you look in the mirror, look at yourself. Really, really, for like more than 10 seconds. Brush your teeth in front of the mirror and assess. Am I shiny? Because some people wake up with like a really beautiful morning dew. That's Christina, like a little angel baby. Like, I'm like, I don't even know how this is possible.
I'm like, did you do something to piss her off? Right?
It's her skin type.
Yeah.
Look at her hair. Look at her nails. Like, her nail polish stays on longer. Her hair is thicker.
It's true, yeah.
It's just her. It's part of her skin type.
That's so interesting.
Even though we're both combination skin, I don't wake up looking as radiant and fresh in the morning. I'm also a couple of years older than her, so
Come on.
that's involved too. But,
Couldn't tell.
right? The point is, like, do you like that look of that natural flush on your skin tone? Look at yourself after the gym. Look at yourself. Engage with your own identity throughout the day and the aesthetic. Is there a moment where you're wishing that you didn't look shiny, or you want to look more matte? And this is, again, this
is the evaluation.
This is the
Yeah.
you're literally and you're, what's going to shock you about this practice, because that's really what it is.
Yeah.
Is suddenly you're going to get to know yourself a little bit more deeply, and thus you're actually going to open the door to have a preference. So you're going into Sephora saying, I'm really shiny by 6 p.m. and I hate that when I go to the gym I'm super shiny. And I'm making this up because I actually love shine personally.
I love a little, yeah.
Right? And then, you know, you can start understanding, like, okay, you're looking for the post-gym glow. Maybe that's like a 10 on a radiance scale. Or maybe it's a 5. But now you're going to start to piece together. And if you want, take pictures of yourself so you can have a benchmark to show the associate the aesthetic you want. You're going to get much closer to A, understanding yourself, and B, actually achieving something that you feel good in, versus I saw this image of X celebrity or X influencer and I want to look like that.
I also think it's interesting to, while you were saying that, I was thinking, I think of the one time I've like advocated myself in a beauty section, which was, I was getting my eyelashes tinted.
Okay.
And she really wanted to do the bottom ones. I don't like.
You don't like it.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Don't
And she was
do
like,
it.
she was like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Like really, really wanted. And I was like, no,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to.
Good for you.
We got there, but it was
Uncomfortable?
uncomfortable, one, and two, just how in her mind, and I don't fault her for this at all, but she is following, I guess, what
beauty
is
standard.
assumed beauty standard.
Absolutely.
Exactly. We had spoken to Elise, who she is a NPR correspondent. We had an episode with her,
That's awesome.
talking about the messages that tweens and teens are getting.
Oh, yeah.
And how they are being told what the beauty standard is, and how obviously like we're talking about beauty and how we interact with the beauty world as adults right now, but of course like when you're impressionable in that younger age, things are very different. But I love how you guys are already coming at this as you hold the power to create your own beauty standard. Now, don't give it to them.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
But here's the craziest thing, and this is where I always say, like, beauty for me was my gateway drug to empowering myself in a positive sense. Like, to empowering myself to ask questions, not just about my face and how I want to look, but what about my health? What about going to the doctor's office? What about if you're in a setting where you're in a corporate environment and you need to advocate for yourself? When you make one little promise to yourself and you keep it, even if that promise is as silly as, I'm going to stick up for myself when the lady says I want to tint your my bottom lash.
I'm like, no, you won't take me.
Literally, like, it sounds so ridiculous, and I know this, but you've just stood up for yourself.
It's advocacy.
It's advocacy, and the minute you start to stand up for yourself consistently, you'll be able to stand up for yourself at work, at home, with your friends, with the doctor, etc. And these little things, and again, while we're talking about beauty runs very deep, right?
Well, and I think this is the point, right? I think people in most industries and in life are looking for the easy answer, right? It's very much that question that you ask, like, what is the question I need to ask the associate? But it's no, what is the question you need to ask yourself?
Yeah, and I can't give it to you because it's all of these experiences, and as simplistic as a search for, or the quest, I would call it, right? The perfect mascara, the perfect lipstick. I'm here to ruin everyone's day. There is no such thing.
Nar.
You're going to evolve. If you're not growing and you're not learning and you're not evolving, what are you doing?
And just like brands need to continue growing, learning, and evolving too, right? Brands shouldn't stay stagnant.
Well, even being open to
Totally
being wrong.
Yeah.
And it's not even being wrong.
No.
It's just open to change.
I think that a lot of people are in their own silos, brands included, and don't know how to ask the right questions at certain points, right? And I think that's what it comes down to, right?
Yeah.
And then we become numb and accustomed, and sometimes it just takes a little bit of perspective to see the light.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I want to give you guys an opportunity to call like bullshit on any like beauty or wellness trends you're seeing right now.
the danger zone.
Maybe it's like the raising eyebrows at like the end step in like a nightly routine, or I don't know.
Oh God, I'm thinking about like 85 different things, but recently I had a friend who's also a practicing dermatologist, with a successful practice, who sees many, many patients every week.
Yes.
And she was telling me that sebaceous filaments is just a made up thing that the TikTok derm, world.
Nar. I'm like, no, I'm doing it.
And while, yes, it's sebum, and
Yes.
while, yes, it creates the shape of what you could arguably describe as a filament, it's just like, it's like a TikTok word. And maybe it's colloquial, and maybe it's Urban Dictionary, and maybe we're going to just, it's going to evolve, and maybe it is going to become a technical term, but if you look in the dermatology, textbook, it's not there. So how does that happen? Well, there's a whole army of derms that are on platform, and I'm not speaking for them necessarily, but I've learned this.
This is what we were told.
This is what we've been told, that aren't actually practicing dermatologists. And some of them are, and some of them are not. Some of them claim to be. And this goes back to how many, and this all to say, just ask questions. Do not take information as 100% face value. I'm not saying you need to look for people's credentials in their bios.
Or you could.
You could.
Or their LinkedIn.
But you need to become more discerning to protect yourself. Not from danger, but from the bullshit. And you are going to be your best advocate, and you're going to sift through the information and look for people who have real world experience. If it's makeup that you're after and you want to become a makeup artist, find someone that's practicing, that's actually doing makeup on people.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way.
Yeah.
Dermatology. Are they actually, in office? Do they go to their website? Do they have a practice? Do they call the office that they theoretically have to see if they're booking and seeing clients? That's your first line of defense. Now, these are extreme examples. I get it. Who's going to actually take the time to do that? But if you're dedicated and you really want to know, that's the way you're going to learn the truth about this expertise. And that's up to you to do.
Do you have any bullshit to call, Christina?
Okay, I got one actually.
I
saying that.
inspired you?
You did. There's a trend going on right now where you take out your e.l.f. Halo Glow and you put all the lip butter bombs inside and you create one big lip gloss.
Whoa.
And it's like so confusing to me. And I asked you the time. It was like when the cushion trend happened and they take the empty compacts and they put all the foundation and they mix it up. But like this keeps on happening over and over. And I don't know. I guess it's like cushy and cute because it reminds you of like when you were a kid and you put things together. So I can see the
like
novelty
slime?
of it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but on the other hand, it's like, really? Like, this is what's a trend? Like, some things that go viral just don't make sense, but it's just because it's clickbaity. It's like, let's see what happens. Or, like, when you add water to a foundation, you put a whip in it.
Oh, that drives me crazy. At least, look.
Right, and then the silicone water thing. I mean, now I'm thinking of so many.
There's so many. I think, when people take the foundation and they put it in water, what you're doing is diluting your money. Just burn it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You're literally ruining the foundation by diluting it. It's like when you order...
Have you seen this? They take foundation, they put it in a beaker or a cup, and then they take like a frother, and they add water to the foundation, and then they froth it.
It's
and
the
then it like
silliest, most
becomes like a
ridiculous thing.
whipped
I'm like, girl,
mousse.
that's for coffee.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Right.
It's like people are making concoctions is part of the series is what I'm talking about.
Well, to what you had just mentioned about putting on the lip glosses, did you say, in one container? And then what you just brought up about the foundation. I mean, how expensive are these products?
Yeah, I know. It's wasteful. It's true.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, maybe they want to discover shade and it's an exploration.
Which I think it's childhood play. That's how I interpret it, and I could understand that.
Me too.
Well, it brings up this concept, right, of like trends and what drives trends, right? And like what are people really intrigued by when these things happen? Right? And like in some way, if you look at the unspoken thing that's whistleblown in that kind of content, it's like, if you do this, you'll have a superior product, but that's not the case. Because if you're a child or if you're someone that doesn't have the beauty literacy, you may think, oh, I can just do this and I'll have a superior thing and I'll just put it in this package, but that's not necessarily true.
No. The play that it's inspiring, I would appreciate it if
it was a product line or something.
Yeah, I guess I'd appreciate it more, again, if this is about creativity and self-expression. But I think it's about clicks and virality.
It is.
So there's the intention behind it.
So back to kind of running it back to beauty literacy, which we chatted about a little bit already. And you kind of touched on this a little bit when you talked about, for example, like calling up the dermatologist office. So like how to do research on creators. But what are the key research steps you recommend taking when determining like whether something skincare product makeup is right for you? Is it an ingredients focused question? Obviously we talked about like what you want to look like, what you want out of it. But even getting down, I'm flipping the bottle over. I'm looking at the back. I see something.
Phenoxyethanol.
Yep. I'm like something. I was not good in chemistry, so I'm glad. Thank God you're here.
I think that this is where things get really overwhelming. So 1, give yourself grace. 2, it goes back to asking yourself some questions, right? I'm someone who's hypersensitive, which is ironic too because, right, I use a lot of different products. When I say I'm hypersensitive, my immune system is overreactive. My amazing functional medicine doctor said, you're like a little sensitive flower, Alexis. I'm like, I don't want to be a sensitive flower, but I am. So know yourself. Are you someone whose skin is overreactive, right? Less is always going to be more, even just less in the sense of less product that you're using. And there are retailers that are trying to do things for you to streamline this. And just like there's no one single simple answer, like, for example, like we can't tell you just shop the brands that are clean. It's so nuanced and the depths of this are so deep. And the truth is that whether or not you're getting this and you're thinking about like detoxing your whole life, because if I were to sit here and tell you, okay, start detoxing the beauty products that you're using that have X in it, for example, like microplastics, okay? The reality is that we have to at some point acknowledge that no matter what you're doing, I'm not saying be oblivious to what you're putting in or on your body, which we didn't even get to the food that you're eating and consuming. What I'm inviting you to do is to ask questions again and understand that everything you touch technically in this world has an impact on you and your physical health and your longevity and all of that.
Well, I actually really like and you saying this made me think a little bit about even going to the doctor's office. I think women advocating for themselves in the doctor's office. I find that the best way for me to do that is to write down my questions beforehand. Ask questions, as you said, but I write them down beforehand because I think when I get in there, I freeze up. I know I'm not the expert in the room. I'm the expert on me, probably, hopefully. But I'm not the expert on how the body works and things like that.
I have a spreadsheet. It has 4 major columns. Every year I update this spreadsheet. The 4 major columns. What year? What are my symptoms? And what's the key takeaway I've gotten from the doctor or practitioner I've gone to see? Take the spreadsheet in with you. Have your symptoms cataloged. Have your understanding of yourself and what you need walking out of there to feel good about your copay or whatever you spent.
And the same goes for Sephora, is what you're saying.
And the same goes for Sephora, and the same
it all comes back to makeup.
And the same goes for your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your non-binary partner. The truth is that, like, I have lived through the same issue personally with friends, with family, where I haven't confronted a boundary. And that's the same boundary that I didn't set with that appointment that I was afraid to show up for.
The boundary I set with my eyelash lady.
Literally.
Exactly.
That boundary.
Yes.
And it's the boundary thing. If you don't learn it, for me, my biggest lesson this year is this boundary lesson. And I keep going through scenario after scenario. And I'm like, there it is. Boundaries. There it is again. If I look back in my notes section from 10 years ago, there's going to be a note from me in therapy. Talk about boundaries. Like, it'll be there. And this, even though, like, I know this isn't like a therapy podcast, but it's about, for me, whether we're on our platform and you're taking away the recommendation about the Prada eyeliner, or you're understanding that there should even be you questioning eyeliners, like, I'm happy if you're asking questions and you're getting to know yourself more intimately. That's it.
I think talking about the beauty and wellness industry is so tricky because we want to embody body neutrality, which is one of Flamingo's like big messages that we try to share with our community. And you can say, obviously, you do your girl, do whatever you want, that type of mentality. But that attitude sort of feels like it brushes a lot of little things under the rug that we should be calling out. Meaning, like, between letting people be like totally autonomous and also naming some of the invisible forces that are driving us to buy certain products and do certain things. So, like, yes, it's you do you, but also what's coming, why do you want to do it? Maybe it's asking why.
Of course. Why is my favorite question.
I feel like this turned into a therapy podcast.
And I think it's fine.
How's everyone feeling? Are we good? No, just a mental health check-in. Who's triggered? No,
I mean, our appearance is so tied to how we feel.
Yeah.
Like, and our mental health. And that sometimes that's just the way it is. And I'd honestly rather us speak about it that way than pretending it's not.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have so many things that, like, are jumping in my brain. I'm someone who, when I was younger, was old. Like, I can distinctly remember, like, 10 different examples of literally this word. It's a 3-letter word. It's my least favorite word. It's the word fat and being called fat. And I'm sure, like, 95 people are triggered right now, like, listening to this. Because, you know, why are little kids... And I was young. I mean, whatever. I'm talking, like, 2nd grade, 4th grade. Every year, there's at least one shame-induced, you know, aggressive moment that this happened. And even I just said that out loud, I could feel my whole body just like
It's a physical reaction.
it's a physical, visceral reaction. And, you know, Christina and I have spoken about this word. She knows it's a trigger for me. And, you know, I'm someone who always out externally seems so confident, I would say, at least for people that know me or have known me. And it really... The type of therapy I've been doing recently, and I only discovered this through asking questions, is somatic. Because when I have that feeling inside of my body that I just described that I had when I said that word out loud, you know, I have to understand, you know, all those moments that happened to me. Why did I feel that way? Where did it come from? It's external. Why are those young kids wanting to say that to me? Well, they learned it somewhere, right? And collectively, there is no resolution to this, but I made a promise to myself that I'm going to say the word. I'm going to have this conversation, even if it's uncomfortable, and I don't like saying the word, and I don't like talking about this experience, because my whole life, I was told well, keep your chin up high, and what do you care if that person said that to you? They're just a bully. Well, guess what? You still are going to feel it in your stomach.
You still care, yeah.
You still care. It's still going to hit you. So today the message is get curious about that sensation in your stomach. Talk to it. Literally, it sounds ridiculous, just like a lot of things we said today. But just acknowledging that you're having a sensation and identifying where it is a significantly better step in a direction towards healing than going and talking to your friend and just talking shit about that asshole that called you fat. Sorry, I said the word asshole. I was doing so good. No.
You can say whatever the fuck you want.
So I think, right, the somatic piece, it's the mind-body connection. To bring it back into beauty, I release these sensations when I'm putting my makeup on. I let it go.
That's very beautiful. My next question then, for each of you, what was the most unruly thing you did this week?
I'm laughing.
Why are you laughing?
That means you have an answer.
No,
She has an answer.
I'm laughing because I'm like, Christina's unruly thing that she does, maybe you'll answer for me,
Okay, I like this game.
is that she will just go to sleep without the alarm on.
Oh, yeah.
No alarm.
That is unruly.
No alarm.
That's not true. I set my alarm. I did. I just said it later than you, and you don't hear it go off. Oh, my God.
I know, we're being silly, but like, it's
so funny.
It is funny.
All right. The unruly thing Alexis does
I like you answering for the other.
is, I mean, I kind of love it, though. We're ordering Uber Eats like crazy right now.
Yeah.
Because we just moved into our new home.
It's aggressive.
You should try
And
everything.
I know. We're like so excited in this neighborhood. We're just like being very unruly and ordering all the things. So.
Sometimes we're double ordering from the same restaurant in a day.
Well, because we found a place
Wild.
we really love. So now it's going to be the unruly
What
thing.
kind of food?
It's
just
just
like-
like American, but it's like actually a lot. Like it's like us mixed.
They have like
They have like the best sized
It's
coffee.
like Dig In meets Sweet Green
Yeah.
meets like the best coffee shop you can think of.
Oh my God, it's so addicting.
It's really like it's a problem.
It
Coming
is.
out to New Jersey.
Yeah, we'll all go.
No, I mean, in all seriousness though, like I felt like I was being unruly yesterday at 5:00 when we didn't keep working.
Yeah,
And we went out and we had time.
but it was the most ruly thing we could do.
But that's the poetic irony of it. Like it's like, ugh. And then we got gelato. Because why not?
Yeah,
Right? Like, and this was we just had a day on a Monday. We had a little date on a Monday.
It was great.
You got to get out of your head. You got to get out of the routine. You got to get out of the house. Like sometimes.
I'm like, gelato, you guys are crazy.
Yeah. On a Monday afternoon, I know. This is what monogamous lesbians do. They go wild. Gelato and
This is a teaching podcast.
I'm here for it.
In the words of Charlie XCX, sometimes it's so hard to be a girl. And we
British Vogue. What's in my bag? Well, no, just kidding.
exactly that. Bring it out. What are your top red flags to look out for when determining whether a new beauty or wellness suggestion is for you?
If it's absolute. If they speak in absolutes.
Yep. There is no absolute in these. There's a billion, over a billion people in this world.
Creaseless concealer. Bullshit.
Yep. Very true that's bullshit. Your skin creases, thus anything you put on top of it will also crease.
What's a green flag?
People that basically are inviting you into like a bubble of love and joy and happiness in the sense that green flag, because we increasingly need that in this landscape, in my opinion.
People
like,
that make you happy.
People that make you. I follow like Iman the Brain. I don't even know if that's her handle, but it makes me happy because
We're gonna add a little word thing on the bottom.
She makes me happy because she's teaching me about the connection my brain makes to joy. I'm learning. For me, it's all goes. If I'm learning something, I can provide value consistently to people that are watching. And again, we may have stumbled into this role of these TikTok creators accidentally, these content creators, but if I'm not helping somebody, whether it was at the makeup counter when I was 19 that I started, or now, I'm not as fulfilled personally. So it goes back to that, like, just green flag. Is someone helping you learn?
So almost like green flag is community.
Community, yeah. Community, and it's about you. It's not about them.
Yeah.
It's got to be about you,
Yeah.
the people listening.
Yeah.
Your community, not the creator themselves.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.